My dear friends, let me ask you a simple question. How many of you want your life to change for the better? A pause. And how many of you have been waiting for that one big thing to happen, that magic button, that miracle formula which will turn your life around overnight? Well, let me share with you a secret. Sometimes transformation doesn't require a lifetime. Sometimes it doesn't even require a year. Sometimes all it takes is 1 week. Yes, just 1 week of practicing the right habits with sincerity and consistency can set you on a journey of unimaginable change. You see, we are the product of our habits. Your habits today decide your destiny tomorrow. Small, simple daily practices hold the power to shape your character, your mindset, and your entire life. Let me tell you a short story. A young man once came to me and said, "Swamiji, my life feels stuck. I wake up late, I feel lazy, I overthink, and by the end of the day I feel guilty because I wasted my time again." When you wake up in the morning, the first few moments are the most powerful part of your day. They are like wet cement. Whatever impressions you place upon them will harden and stay with you throughout the day. Imagine the very first thing you do when your eyes open sets the tone for everything that follows. Now, most of us, out of habit, grab our phones and scroll. Within minutes, we are drowned in notifications, emails, social media feeds, and messages. Before we even breathe deeply, we have already allowed the world to invade our mind. That's like allowing hundreds of people to walk into your bedroom the moment you wake up. How peaceful can that be? The truth is, your mind needs silence before it faces noise. Your heart needs grounding before it faces the rush. Your soul needs nourishment before it faces the world's demands. And that is why starting the day with silence is not just a habit, it is a lifestyle shift. Picture this: you wake up, sit on your bed or on the floor, close your eyes and simply breathe. You do not rush, you do not scroll, you do not let the world in just yet. For the first 10 minutes, you are with yourself. You feel the rhythm of your breath. You hear the birds outside your window. You offer gratitude for another day of life, another chance to grow, another sunrise that you are blessed to see. This simple act of silence is like charging your mental battery before you begin the day. Think about your phone. It cannot function all day unless you charge it. In the same way, your mind cannot function at its best unless you charge it with silence in the morning. I remember once meeting a young man who told me, "Swamiji, my mornings are the most stressful. I feel like I wake up into chaos. My phone rings, my boss messages, I have deadlines in front of me, and I already feel behind even though the day just started." I told him, "It is not your day that is chaotic, it is your beginning that is unprepared." You see, if a pilot begins his journey without checking his instruments, without taking a deep breath before flying, the whole flight can go wrong. But if he takes just a few minutes to prepare, the journey is safe and smooth. In the same way, those few silent minutes prepare you to fly through the day with calmness and clarity. Some people say, "But Swamiji, I don't have time to sit in silence." Let me ask you, if you don't have 10 minutes for yourself in the morning, how will you have time for anything else in life? We always make time for what we value. If you value your mental health, your focus, your peace, then those 10 minutes are not optional. They are essential. And it's not about hours of meditation. It's about sincerity, not duration. Even 5-10 minutes of genuine silence can refresh your mind more than an hour of aimless scrolling ever could. You can use this time in different ways. You may sit quietly and watch your breath, letting your mind slow down. You may close your eyes and repeat a positive affirmation, reminding yourself, I am calm, I am focused, I am grateful. Or you may write down 3 things you are thankful for, training your mind to focus on blessings instead of problems. Gratitude in silence is like watering the roots of your happiness. If you water the roots, the tree will grow strong. If you neglect them, the tree will wither. Think of a glass of muddy water. If you keep stirring it, it only becomes cloudier. But if you let it sit in silence, the mud settles down and the water becomes clear. That is exactly what silence does to your mind. At the start of the day, your thoughts may be restless and scattered. But when you sit in stillness, your worries settle, your thoughts become clear, and you begin the day with focus instead of confusion. Even science supports this. Research shows that people who start their day with meditation or silent reflection experience lower stress levels, better concentration, and greater emotional stability. But beyond science, it is something you can experience yourself. Try it for a week. Wake up, sit for 10 minutes in silence, and notice how the rest of your day feels lighter, smoother, and more meaningful. When you don't begin your day in silence, you are like a car rushing onto the highway without warming the engine. You may still drive, but the machine wears down faster and accidents are more likely. But when you warm up the engine, the journey is smoother. Life is the same. Silence is the warm up of the mind. And let me tell you, silence is not emptiness. It is fullness. It is in silence that you hear your own heart. It is in silence that you listen to your inner wisdom. It is in silence that you connect with God, with nature, and with yourself. The world is full of noise, and if you don't learn to pause, you will lose yourself in it. But if you give yourself silence, even for a short while, you carry peace with you wherever you go. So tomorrow morning, when you wake up, resist the temptation to grab your phone. Instead, grab the opportunity to be with yourself. Those 10 minutes will not delay your day. They will design your day. They will not waste your time. They will multiply your time by giving you clarity and focus. Begin your day with silence, and you will see how one small change can transform not just your morning, but your entire life. The human body is the vehicle of the soul. No matter how strong your mind is, no matter how big your dreams are, if the body is weak, the journey becomes painful. Have you noticed that when your body feels heavy, your mind also feels dull? But when your body feels light, active, and energetic, your thoughts flow freely, your mood improves, and your productivity rises. This is why moving your body every single day is not just about fitness. It is about sharpening your mind, elevating your emotions, and empowering your spirit. Let me share something I often observe. Many people say, Swamiji, I don't feel like exercising. I don't have the motivation. But I ask them, do you wait for motivation to brush your teeth? Do you wait for motivation to eat your meals? You don't, because you know those are essential. In the same way, movement is essential. It is the maintenance of your inner machinery. Without it, the system becomes rusty, clogged, and fragile. A car left unused for months may look fine from the outside, but its engine weakens, its battery dies, and its parts corrode. The same is true for your body. Without movement, your inner system weakens, even if you appear okay on the surface. Movement doesn't always mean going to the gym for 2 hours or lifting heavy weights. It simply means waking your body up, shaking off stiffness, and allowing your blood to circulate with energy. It can be a brisk morning walk, a few minutes of stretching, yoga postures, dancing to music you love, or even climbing the stairs instead of using the elevator. The point is not to compete with others, but to care for yourself. Let me tell you a story. There was a man who complained of constant stress and low energy. He thought maybe he needed new vitamins or expensive supplements. But when I asked him about his daily routine, he said he worked long hours at a desk, barely moved during the day, and went home straight to bed. I suggested something simple. Instead of looking for magic pills, start by taking a 20-minute walk every evening. He was hesitant, but he agreed. Within a week, he came back smiling. He said, "Swamiji, my stress has reduced, my mind feels clearer, and I sleep better at night." What changed? Not his job, not his boss, not his responsibilities, just his habit of moving his body. Science proves this as well. When you move, your body releases endorphins, natural chemicals that reduce stress and boost happiness. Exercise is not only for building muscles, it is for building moods. It gives you energy, confidence, and resilience. And the beauty is, you don't have to wait months to see the effect. Even after one good session of movement, you feel lighter and brighter instantly. Think about children. They run, jump, play, climb, and rarely sit still. And what do you notice about them? They are full of energy, curiosity, and joy. Somewhere as adults, we stopped moving, and with that, we lost a part of that natural joy. Bringing back daily movement is like reconnecting with the child inside you, the one who is playful, free, and full of life. Now, some people say, "But I am too busy. My schedule is too tight." Let me tell you this. If you don't make time for movement today, you will be forced to make time for illness tomorrow. Doctor's appointments, medicines, and treatments will demand the time you thought you didn't have. Which one is better? Preventing problems with 30 minutes of daily movement, or suffering from them later with regret? Life will always be busy, but your body is the very tool that allows you to handle that business. Protect it. Let's also not underestimate the connection between body and mind. Have you ever noticed that after sitting for long hours, your thoughts get stuck, your creativity dries up, and you feel unmotivated? But when you step outside, walk a little, breathe fresh air, suddenly new ideas flow, and your brain feels alive again. This is because movement stimulates the brain, increasing oxygen and blood flow, which boosts clarity and focus. Some of the world's greatest thinkers, like Aristotle and Steve Jobs, often had walking meetings instead of sitting ones. They knew that when the legs move, the mind moves too. Even spiritually, movement has deep value. When you practice yoga or mindful walking, your body is not just exercising. It becomes a temple through which you connect with your inner self. You feel more present, more centered, more in tune with life. And when your body feels balanced, your emotions naturally follow. I once met a woman who said, "Swamiji, I pray every morning, but still my mind feels restless. I asked her, "Do you move your body before you pray?" She said no. I told her, "Try doing a few stretches, breathe deeply, walk for a few minutes, then sit for prayer." A week later, she returned and said, "No, my prayers feel deeper. My mind doesn't wander as much. My body supports my stillness." You see, movement prepares the body so the soul can sit in peace. So the question is not whether you have time to move. The real question is whether you value your life enough to give your body what it needs. Even 15 minutes a day can make a remarkable difference. You don't have to run marathons or lift heavy weights. Just commit to moving, because every step you take is a step towards health, clarity, and happiness. My friends, never forget this simple truth. If you can't carry your own body, how will you carry the weight of your responsibilities? If you want to carry your dreams, your family, your work, and your purpose, then first take care of the vehicle that carries it all, your body. Move it daily, cherish it, and respect it. When you move your body, you don't just change your health, you change your entire life. What you feed your mind is just as important as what you feed your body. Imagine eating junk food every single day. Your health would suffer, your energy would drop, and your body would weaken. In the same way, when we constantly feed our minds with negativity, gossip, complaints, and toxic influences, our thoughts become polluted, our mood gets heavy, and our spirit feels tired. But when we feed our minds with positivity, encouragement, wisdom, and inspiration, everything inside us begins to shine. It is not about denying problems or ignoring reality. It is about choosing what you allow to dominate your thoughts. Think about it every day. You are surrounded by endless streams of information. The news, social media, conversations with friends, workplace chatter. It all flows into your mind like water into a sponge. The mind absorbs it all. If the water is dirty, the sponge becomes dirty. If the water is clean, the sponge stays fresh. The mind is no different. It reflects whatever you allow in. That is why being mindful of what you feed your mind is so crucial. I remember a young student who once told me, "Swamiji, I feel anxious all the time. I compare myself with everyone online. I feel I am not good enough, and it makes me miserable." I asked him, "How many hours do you spend scrolling on social media?" He looked down and said, "Almost 4 to 5 hours daily." I said, "No wonder you feel this way. You are feeding your mind with other people's highlight reels, comparing them with your behind the scenes reality. How can that ever make you feel happy?" I encouraged him to limit his screen time and instead read uplifting books, listen to motivational talks, and spend time with people who inspire him. After a few weeks, he told me, "Swamiji, I feel lighter. I still have challenges, but I feel more hopeful and positive." Nothing in his outer life had changed, but his inner diet had transformed. Positivity is not something you wait for. It is something you cultivate. Just like a farmer does not wait for random seeds to fall on his land, but carefully chooses what to plant, we too must choose what we plant in our minds. If you plant seeds of gratitude, you harvest joy. If you plant seeds of kindness, you harvest love. But if you allow seeds of negativity to settle, weeds of stress and anger will grow. Every thought is a seed, and the garden of your life depends on what you feed your mind. Now, feeding your mind with positivity does not mean ignoring the negative altogether. It means balancing what comes in. The world will always have challenges, people will always have complaints, and problems will always exist. But if you only focus on those, you drain your strength to deal with them. Feeding your mind with positivity gives you the courage, resilience, and hope to face those challenges. It's like charging your battery before using your phone. Without charge, the phone dies. Without positivity, the mind collapses under stress. Let me give you a daily life example. Imagine two people stuck in traffic. One of them spends the time honking, cursing, and complaining about how terrible the city is. The other person uses that time to listen to an audiobook, some soothing music, or a motivational podcast. Same traffic, same situation, but two very different experiences. One leaves the car drained and frustrated, the other leaves with new knowledge and peace. The difference lies not in the road, but in the choice of what they fed their mind during that time. Positivity is not always about words, it is also about people. When you spend time with people who constantly complain, criticize, and spread negativity, you begin to mirror them. But when you surround yourself with people who encourage, uplift, and inspire you, their energy becomes your energy. A simple conversation with a positive person can light up your entire day, while one negative comment from a toxic person can ruin your mood for hours. So choose your company wisely. It is part of what you feed your mind. Even spiritually, what you consume matters. Sacred texts, uplifting prayers, wise teachings. These are food for the soul. They remind you of higher truths and deeper purposes. When life feels overwhelming, these words act like medicine, soothing your heart and bringing clarity to your mind. Just as we need daily meals to nourish our bodies, we need daily doses of positive input to nourish our souls. Without it, the soul starves and the mind becomes restless. A good practice is to start and end your day with positivity. In the morning, read or listen to something inspiring. It could be a passage from a book, a thought for the day, or even a few minutes of uplifting silence. At night, reflect on one good thing that happened, one lesson you learned, or one reason to be grateful. This way, you begin and close the day by feeding your mind with hope and gratitude. Slowly, you will notice your mindset changing, your stress reducing, and your relationships improving. Think of the mind like a radio. Whatever frequency you tune into, that's what you hear. If you tune into negativity, you will hear endless noise. If you tune into positivity, you will hear melodies of peace and joy. The choice is yours. Nobody can change the channel of your mind but you. So, my friends, never underestimate the power of what you feed your mind. A healthy mental diet creates a healthy, happy life. Just like your body reflects the food you eat, your character and emotions reflect the thoughts you consume. Feed your mind with positivity, and it will show in your words, your actions, and your entire presence. People will feel the difference in you because a positive mind creates a radiant life. Focus is the secret ingredient behind every masterpiece, every success story, and every great achievement in life. Yet in today's world, focus has become one of the rarest qualities. We live in a culture that constantly demands our attention. Phones buzzing, notifications popping, people calling, distractions pulling us in every direction. We feel busy, yet at the end of the day we wonder, what did I actually accomplish? The truth is, business is not the same as productivity. The person who chases 10 rabbits will catch none, but the person who patiently follows one rabbit will succeed. In life, too, when we try to do too many things at once, we end up scattered, stressed, and unsatisfied. But when we choose one thing and give it our full focus, we not only finish it, we do it with excellence. Think about a magnifying glass. When you place it under the sun and keep moving it around, nothing much happens. But when you hold it still, focusing the sunlight on one point, it can create fire. The sun's energy is always powerful, but without focus, it cannot burn. Your mind works the same way. Without focus, your energy is wasted. With focus, your energy becomes unstoppable. I remember a student once told me, Swamiji, I sit with my books for hours, but I don't learn anything. I get distracted every few minutes, and then I feel guilty. I asked him, how many times do you look at your phone while studying? He said, many times. I smiled and said, then you are not studying for hours. You are studying for minutes and distracting for hours. The problem was not time, it was focus. I advised him to keep his phone in another room, set a timer for 30 minutes, and study with full concentration. After 30 minutes, he could take a short break. Within weeks, he told me his results had improved. What changed? Not his intelligence, not his subjects, not his teachers. Just his ability to focus on one thing at a time. Multitasking has become fashionable, but it is one of the biggest myths. People think doing many things at once makes them efficient. In reality, it makes them careless. Imagine a chef cooking 5 dishes at once without paying attention. He will burn one, oversalt another, and ruin the rest. But a chef who prepares one dish at a time creates perfection. Similarly, in our lives, we often spoil tasks by dividing our attention. Quality is always better than quantity. It is not about how many things you start, but how well you complete what you choose. Focus also brings a deep sense of satisfaction. Have you ever noticed the joy you feel when you complete something with your whole heart? Whether it's finishing a project, cleaning your room, writing in your journal, or even cooking a meal, when you give yourself fully to it, there's a peace that follows. On the other hand, when you keep switching tasks and leaving things unfinished, your mind feels restless. Unfinished tasks are like open tabs in your brain. They drain your energy even when you're not working on them. Closing them with focus brings calmness and clarity. There was once a great archer in ancient times. His teacher asked him to aim at the eye of a bird on a tree. The teacher then asked, "What do you see?" Some students said, "We see the tree, the leaves, the branches." But the great archer replied, "I see only the eye of the bird." That focus made him the best. This story reminds us that success does not come from looking at everything. It comes from choosing one target and ignoring the rest. In our daily lives, focus is tested all the time. At work, you may be tempted to check your phone every few minutes. At home, you may be physically present with your family, but mentally lost in other worries. Focus means giving yourself fully to the present moment, whether it is work, study, or a simple conversation with a loved one. When you give full attention, you not only do better, but you also show respect. Imagine talking to someone who keeps looking at their phone while you're speaking. How does that feel? Now imagine someone listening with full attention, eyes and heart open. That presence itself is love, and that too is focus. Even spiritually, focus is essential. When we pray or meditate, the mind runs everywhere. We think of the past, the future, unfinished work, and random thoughts. But as we practice, we learn to bring our attention back to one point: our breath, a mantra, or the divine. This practice of focus in silence strengthens our ability to focus in daily life as well. A mind that can focus in stillness can also focus in action. Now, some people say, Swamiji, I try to focus, but distractions are everywhere. The truth is, distractions will always exist. Focus is not the absence of distractions. It is the ability to choose what matters despite them. Just like a river flows around rocks, but still reaches the ocean, your attention must flow past distractions and reach your goal. This is not easy at first, but with practice, it becomes natural. Start small. Choose one task and decide, for the next 20 minutes, I will do only this. No phone, no multitasking, no jumping between tabs. Just you and the task. Slowly increase the time. You will notice your productivity rising, your stress reducing, and your confidence growing. Because when you learn to focus, you gain control over your mind. And when you control your mind, you control your life. So remember this simple truth: excellence is born from focus, not from haste. Do not be in a rush to do everything. Be in a rush to do one thing well. Life is not about touching everything lightly. It is about holding something deeply. Just as a drop of water, when focused, can cut through stone, your focused effort can cut through obstacles. Choose one thing, pour your attention into it, and you will see magic unfold. Focus is not just a habit, it is a superpower. The end of the day is as important as the beginning of the day. Just as a beautiful sunrise fills us with hope, a thoughtful sunset fills us with wisdom, yet most people, when night comes, simply collapse into bed, exhausted, carrying the weight of the entire day with them. Their minds are restless, replaying mistakes, regrets, or unfinished tasks. Sleep becomes shallow, and they wake up feeling just as tired as before. But those who take a few moments to pause, reflect, and learn before closing their eyes, those people sleep lighter, deeper, and stronger because they do not just end the day, they complete it. Reflection is the bridge between experience and growth. Without reflection, experiences pass like scenery from a moving train, noticed but not absorbed. With reflection, every experience becomes a teacher. Imagine your day is like a book. Every morning you open a fresh page, and every night you close it. Now, what happens if you never stop to read what you wrote? You may fill hundreds of pages, but you will never truly know your own story. Reflection is like reading the book of your own life daily, understanding what was written, and learning how to write better tomorrow. I once met a young man who said, Swamiji, my life feels repetitive. Every day feels the same. I don't feel like I'm growing. I asked him, do you reflect at night? He looked puzzled and said, what do you mean? I explained, at the end of each day, spend just 5 minutes asking yourself 3 questions. What did I do well today? What could I improve tomorrow? What lesson did I learn? He began this practice. A month later, he told me, Swamiji, I feel more alive. My days no longer feel wasted because each one leaves me with a lesson. Even mistakes now feel useful. You see, the difference was not in his external life, it was in how he processed it. Reflection gives us clarity. Without it, life feels like a blur. Have you ever driven through heavy fog where you could hardly see the road? That is how life feels without reflection: unclear, confusing, uncertain. But reflection is like turning on the headlights. Suddenly, the road ahead becomes visible. You still have to drive, but now you can see where you are going. Some people fear reflection because they think it is about guilt or regret. But reflection is not about punishing yourself, it is about guiding yourself. If a teacher points out your mistakes, it is not to shame you, but to help you learn. Similarly, when you reflect, you are both the student and the teacher of your own life. Mistakes are not failures, they are feedback. Reflection helps you receive that feedback and use it for improvement. Think about athletes. After every match, they watch recordings of their performance. They study their movements, analyze their mistakes, and plan improvements. Without this reflection, they could never grow stronger. Life is our match and reflection is our replay. When we reflect, we replay the day, learn from it, and prepare for the next. Even in relationships, reflection is powerful. Many times, small arguments or misunderstandings leave us restless at night. But when we pause to reflect, we can ask ourselves, was I too harsh? Could I have listened better? Did I express gratitude enough? Reflection allows us to soften our heart, to forgive, and to improve the way we treat others. Without it, relationships stagnate. With it, they blossom. Spiritually, too, reflection is essential. Ancient wisdom tells us to review the day before sleeping, offering gratitude for the good and seeking forgiveness for the mistakes. This simple practice cleanses the heart and lightens the soul. Just like you wouldn't go to bed without washing your face, why would you go to bed without cleansing your mind? Reflection washes away the dirt of the day and prepares you for peaceful rest. A simple way to reflect is through journaling. Take a notebook and write a few lines each night. Write one good thing that happened, one challenge you faced, and one thing you are grateful for. Over time, you will see patterns. You will see how you are growing, where you are repeating mistakes, and how your blessings are increasing. Journaling is like leaving footprints on the sand of time. You can look back and see how far you have come. Think of your mind like a garden. Every day, seeds fall into it. Some are good seeds of kindness and joy. Others are weeds of anger and negativity. If you never check the garden, weeds will take over. But if each night you reflect, you pull out the weeds and water the good seeds. Over time, your mind becomes a flourishing garden of positivity and wisdom. Reflection also brings peace. Have you noticed how sometimes when you share your worries with a friend, you feel lighter? Reflection is like being your own friend. By talking to yourself honestly at night, you release what is heavy and keep what is useful. This makes your sleep deeper and your mornings brighter. So, when the day ends, don't just run into sleep. Pause, sit quietly, ask yourself, what did today teach me? Did I become a little better? Did I spread a little kindness? Did I live with purpose? These questions will not only guide you, they will transform you. Because every day then becomes more than just time passed. It becomes a step forward in your journey of growth. My friends, reflection is not a waste of time. It is an investment in wisdom. Just 5 minutes at night can save you years of repeating mistakes. Just a few honest questions. can open the door to deep transformation. Life is not measured by the number of days we live, but by the lessons we learn in those days. And reflection ensures that no day is wasted. So tonight, before you sleep, gift yourself silence and reflection. Close your eyes, travel back through the day, pick the pearls of wisdom, and let go of the stones of regret. You will find your heart lighter, your mind clearer, and your soul calmer. And when tomorrow comes, you will walk into it not just with experience, but with wisdom. Discipline is often seen as a heavy word, something strict, something that restricts freedom. But in reality, discipline is not a cage, it is the key that unlocks true freedom. Without discipline, life becomes chaotic, like a boat without a rudder, drifting wherever the waves take it. But with discipline, you steer your boat with purpose, heading toward the shore you desire. Discipline is not about saying no to life, it is about saying yes to what truly matters. Think about a student preparing for exams. Without discipline, the student spends hours scrolling on the phone, chatting with friends, or watching videos. Days pass, and when the exam comes, stress and regret take over. On the other hand, a disciplined student may also feel tempted to waste time, but he gently reminds himself of his goal. He sits down, studies daily, and stays consistent. When the exam arrives, he enters with calmness and confidence. This is the difference discipline makes. It changes pressure into peace and regret into reward. Discipline is like brushing your teeth. At first, as children, we resist it. It feels boring, repetitive, unnecessary. But over time, we realize its importance. A small act daily prevents a big problem later. Similarly, discipline in habits, waking up early, eating healthy, exercising, saving money, reading, practicing gratitude, may feel small, but over years, these little acts protect us from massive struggles. Without discipline, we pay the price later in health, in finances, and in relationships. With discipline, we earn peace, stability, and success. I once heard a story about bamboo. When you plant bamboo, nothing seems to grow for years. You water it daily, take care of the soil, but for almost 5 years, you see no result. Then suddenly, in the 5th year, the bamboo shoots up to over 80 feet tall in just a few weeks. The truth is, it wasn't growing overnight. It was growing underground, building roots, preparing for strength. Discipline is like that. You may not see immediate results, but beneath the surface, you are building the roots of strength, resilience, and character. One day, the results will rise so high that everyone will notice. Many people wait for motivation. They say, I'll exercise when I feel inspired. I'll work hard when I feel like it. But motivation is like the weather. It comes and goes. If you rely only on motivation, your actions will be inconsistent. Discipline, however, is like the sun. It rises every day, whether you feel like it or not. It does not depend on moods, it depends on commitment. Discipline is waking up and doing what must be done, even when the heart feels lazy. Think of a musician. To play beautifully on stage, he must practice scales for hours alone in a room. It is not glamorous, no one is applauding, and sometimes he does not feel like it. But day after day, disciplined practice sharpens his skills. Later, when he steps onto the stage, the world claps in admiration. What people call talent is actually the fruit of unseen discipline. Even in relationships, discipline matters. Love is not just a feeling, it is a choice made daily. A husband may feel tired, but he disciplines himself to listen to his wife with patience. A parent may feel stressed, but they discipline themselves to give time to their children. A friend may feel distracted, but disciplines himself to be present in conversation. Without this discipline, relationships weaken. With it, they grow stronger and last longer. Discipline also guards us from temptation. In today's world, distractions are everywhere. A single click can waste hours. Without discipline, we become slaves to comfort, to entertainment, to instant pleasure. But discipline gives us power to say, "No, this does not serve me. I choose better." True strength is not lifting heavy weights. It is lifting yourself above temptations. Spirituality too requires discipline, meditation, prayer, gratitude. These practices only bear fruit when done consistently. If you meditate only once in a while, the mind remains restless. But if you discipline yourself to sit every morning, even for 10 minutes, slowly peace enters your heart. Spiritual discipline builds inner strength, just as physical discipline builds outer strength. There is a saying, discipline weighs ounces, regret weighs tons. The effort of discipline may feel heavy at first, but compared to the weight of regret, it is light. Waking up early may feel difficult, but the regret of years wasted in laziness is far heavier. Saving a small portion of money may feel restrictive, but the regret of being financially unstable later is unbearable. Choosing healthy food may feel boring, but the regret of sickness is painful. Discipline saves us from the heavier burdens of life. Discipline is also contagious. When you live with discipline, people around you are inspired. A father who wakes early, exercises, and reads daily silently teaches his children more than any lecture. A leader who shows discipline in work and ethics inspires his team without words. Discipline is not just for yourself. It becomes a gift to others, an example that lights their path. The beauty of discipline is that it is built slowly. You don't have to change your whole life in one day. Start with one small act. Wake up 10 minutes earlier. Spend 5 minutes in gratitude. Avoid one unhealthy choice. Over time, these small disciplines add up. Just as drops fill an ocean, small acts of discipline build a powerful life. At first, discipline may feel like a sacrifice, but later it feels like freedom. Freedom from bad habits, freedom from regret, freedom from chaos. When you practice discipline, you are not limiting your life, you are shaping it into something greater. So, remember, discipline is not your enemy, it is your ally. It is not punishment, it is protection. It is not about living less, it is about living more fully, with strength, clarity, and purpose. Each time you choose discipline over distraction, you are not just shaping a habit, you are shaping your destiny.